It was a big day for people who like horoscopes and horror movies when this one came out.
I don't like this. It's gonna give me nightmares.
It was a big day for white women. Tarot cards began their use in occult and fortune telling somewhere in France in the late 1700s. As if we needed another reason to dislike France? Just put this movie on the pile. Come on, all they've got is a cool tower and baguettes. Let's just build a big wall around the country and be done with it already. Wait, I forgot about Léa Seydoux. Tear the wall down! No wall!
Dang, girl, you've been taking your vitamins.
In actuality, I think things like the occult, witchcraft, and astrology are fairly interesting despite my disbelief in their function. I think these things can and have been in great media. But in this case, I mean... Do you like manga horror artists like Junji Ito and Kazuo Umezu? Then you will love this new alien clothing collection. It's heavily inspired by those artists because I personally love them so much. There's 4 new spooky designs and I think you will like them. Especially if you like spooky, creepy stuff like I do. The shirts are lightweight, but they also hold the design really well. One of the coolest hoodies we've ever released for sure. And I love this like vintage washed out black look. Back design. You can use code MANGA for 15% off your order. And that goes for everything on the shop. So if you see anything else you like over there, then this could be a good time to pick it up. All right, back to the review. Okay, this movie's not the worst thing in the world. It's like a strong 5 or 4 out of 10. Part of me wants to believe that Spencer Cohen and Anna Hallberg kind of knew that this movie would be trashed, so they had some fun with it.
So if we find something scary and fun, then hopefully other people will too.
It's pretty clear during certain scenes that they're trying to make it kind of goofy.
How did you get out of the elevator again?
Paxton?
It's loosely based on the 1992 novel Horoscope. The book itself has mostly decent ratings, but there's one review on Goodreads by someone named Broski Microsoft that says this: boring, and we didn't even get through half of the Zodiac. Genuinely insane that this inspired tarot. Like they have nearly nothing in common. I simply must scratch my head. I'm gonna be honest, this movie would have to be incredible to make tarot cards scary.
Oh, scary!
It's kind of the equivalent of trying to make a Ouija board scary.
Shiver my timbers!
It's just tough to do. Some of you might find these things scary, but to me, I find a Ouija board and tarot cards just as scary as the game Candyland. But I did appreciate the theater scares. They did this thing where they put someone behind a curtain and they dressed them up as a demon and they would pop out at unsuspecting moviegoers. Like you would expect, this movie follows a group of friends. And yes, most of them die.
Ain't no fucking way, boy.
Their names are Haley, Grant, Lucas, Paxton, Paige, Madeline, and Elise. They're all hanging out in this Airbnb, and they realize that they're out of alcohol.
I'm out of beer.
So they search the house for some. They're so desperate for booze that Lucas purposefully ignores a keep out sign. They break the lock to the basement in hopes that there's booze down there that they can steal from the Airbnb owners. I don't think stealing the host's alcohol is the best idea. I know people who have been drinking do some dumb shit, but really, this is a stunt I would expect from like Jake Paul. So obviously they find the cursed tarot deck down there. It just so happens that Haley is an expert on this stuff.
Each zodiac sign is represented by a card in the major arcana.
So she performs readings on the other people in the group. They kind of spoil the movie during this scene. For example, during Paxton's reading, they tell us that he'll show up for his friends in an unexpected way.
I do see you showing up for your friends in an unexpected way.
So obviously he comes out of nowhere and saves the day in the third act. But they do it in this like cheeky sort of way that I can appreciate.
Guys!
So they drop off Elise at her place. This girl has the weirdest house ever. It looks like a little hotel. Why is her hallway so wide? Also, those hallway lights need to be replaced. They're lighting up the hallway as effectively as Drake responded to Kendrick.
Hold up!
It looks like the girl lives in the haunted mansion in Disney World. Your house would be brighter if you used candles. The ladder to Elise's attic suddenly drops with a loud thud. Elise goes up and looks around with her phone light and finds nothing. The lights go out, you know, like they always do in these movies. And then suddenly there's a ton of candles lit around her. So that's kind of ironic that I said she should light her house with candles earlier. She then starts hearing her reading again. The cards from her reading show up in front of her. And then she's spooked off the ladder by the high priestess because that's the card she got. the high priestess. So that's the thing that haunts her. The high priestess then uses the ladder to crush Elise to death, but not with like demonic powers or anything. Instead, the high priestess literally grabs the ladder with its long pointed demon fingers and lifts it up. Is it just me, or is Elise smiling right here? I'm not so sure what there is to smile about. Maybe the guy holding the boom mic made a joke. Maybe her pained face is very similar to her smile. You know, like this. Oh, but I was wrong about the high priestess not using demonic powers because it uses them to pull Elise back so it can continue to crush her with the ladder. She needs her to be sitting in the right spot so she can squish her over and over. And I mean that, over and over. Squish, squish, squish. Like she's squashing grapes for wine or something. Like, goddamn, bitch, chill, she's already dead. I do like the design for the high priestess though. She's very spooky. Next, we see the friends get together to mourn Elise. Paige is mourning the death of her best friend, and Haley helps her out by telling her a story of her mom's death and how things are fated to happen no matter what we do.
You can't change fate.
And she knows this because her tarot cards told her so. That's one way to cheer up your friend. It was always gonna happen this way, dude. Sorry, she was always going to be squished by a ladder. For no reason, really, that we know of. Something squished her with a ladder. Like, really squished her. We've got Donkey Kong up there doing this on the bongos. Next on the chopping block is Lucas. He walks through a strangely empty train station until he's chased by a wave of darkness. The demon that's gonna kill Lucas carries a lamp. Like, that's its thing. Its brand, you know? It always has to carry the lamp around. That's how you know it's him. The evil lamp bearer. Lucas is chased into an abandoned portion of the train station, which is not different at all from the portion that he just left, because there was no one there, but, you know, this place is supposed to be abandoned, while the other place is just abandoned coincidentally. He steps on a newspaper that reads, "You die today," and it has his face printed on it. He then starts hearing his reading again.
You are a Capricorn.
I guess some things are like created as visions by the demons for the people to see. That must be how it works, right? Because this newspaper wouldn't make any sense otherwise. So the demons make these people see things. But they also have a very real impact on the world around them. The lamp bearer decides to spook him a few more times. He pops up with his lamp and chases him. This eventually leads to Lucas jumping out in front of a moving train. So I guess the lamp bearer timed that perfectly. You know, it had the times of the trains and it kind of knew that the train would be passing at this exact second. So I gotta spook him with the lamp. Boo. The police get involved and find no foul play.
There's no signs of foul play.
The rest of the friends decide to stay together to be safe, and Haley comes to the conclusion that it must be linked to her tarot readings, since she found some commonalities between her reading and Lucas's death. But like, how did she remember exactly what Lucas's reading was? It's been many days since then. It would have been better and more realistic if they recorded the readings and then watched them again and then made the connection.
He's an earth sign. They found him in the dirt.
He's an earth sign. They found him in the dirt. Oh, hell no, dude. This is like if one of your best friends were Gwyneth Paltrow.
No.
Oh, and I guess they did record the readings? At least Madeline did. But they show us them watching it after Haley had perfect memory.
I mean, you're reading into that.
Get it? Reading into it? Do you think they did that on purpose? There's no way, right? Grant is the only person in this group of friends with any common sense. Paxton, Paige, and Madeline are like, we should totally look into this. There's definitely some truth to it. Like, they're convinced that the readings have something to do with their deaths. The three whack jobs go online and do some research for literally 10 seconds and find a bunch of results about someone named Alma Astrom, who apparently had a very similar situation happen to her, where tarot readings killed her friends. But she managed to survive, and they want to know how. Grant looks her up on his phone and finds some scathing results about her, how she's been discredited and how she's a whack job.
So I just looked her up, she's a total whack job?
So of course the group decides to go and give her a visit. They literally drive to her address that they found online. Who knows how far away she was? Probably not that far since, you know, they were able to drive to her fairly quickly too. They arrive there in the middle of the night and decide to knock on her door. Couldn't they have at least waited till morning? This is super creepy and weird. Or they could have planned it better so they didn't arrive there at 11 p.m. The actress Alwyn Ferrari plays Alma. I loved her in The Northman and Mandy. Remember her weird ass role in Mandy?
I'm the most sensual lover.
It's so weird. Anyway, in this movie, she tells her story to the group. A story about an astrologer from way back that was labeled a witch, and her family was subsequently put to death. She then performed a dark ritual, a death curse. She killed herself so as to curse her tarot deck and the man that was responsible for her family's death. Obviously, this same tarot deck survived all these years and was used by Alma and Haley's groups. Later, there's a scene of them driving home at night, and Paxton is recounting his reading because for some weird reason, he remembers it perfectly, when this was how much he cared about it at the time.
Yeah, I really would love to go. Yeah.
To the bathroom.
Of course, they could have watched the video that exists apparently that they never watched, but apparently all have watched. Although Madeline does play the readings on her phone during this scene, so maybe she played Paxton's reading off screen. That's probably what happened. This next part is infuriating. So during her reading, Haley tells Madeline to fight the urge to run away from danger.
This month, maybe fight that urge.
So she should probably do that, right? If they all believe that the readings are accurate? Immediately after this, a demon draws a hanged man on her window with the word run underneath. So obviously this thing is trying to bait you to run, you idiot. What does she do? Of course, she runs. It's in the middle of the night. You're on a bridge in the middle of nowhere. Where are you running to? To be fair, their car did malfunction. It like stopped for some reason. The demon stopped it. It like sucked all the oil out of it with a straw. I don't know. Also, if the demon drew on the window from outside the car, why would you leave the car to join the demon? What? She just really wanted to hang out with this thing, I guess. Literally. The car has a motion sensor that senses the demon outside the car, but it didn't sense it when it was drawing on the window, so that's weird.
That doesn't make sense.
The demon has its trusty rope, and it's on a mission, because Madeline has to die by hanging. It's the only way. So she's running down this bridge until the demon lassos her with the noose like a cowboy wrangling a cow. It lifts her in the air and then drops her body so the other kids can see it and then lifts it back up again. The demons just love lifting things and putting them back down, you know, doing this. The demon uses Madeline's poor dead body like a tea bag. Also, the car inexplicably vanishes from the bridge after the kids leave it. There's a scene showing the entire bridge afterwards and the car is just gone. The remaining members of the group run away. They run and walk for however long, but none of them seem tired when we see them again. Haley warns Paxton against abandoning the group because doing so would satisfy one of his readings. And so he abandons the group. You guys believe that the readings are responsible for these deaths. And at this point, it seems pretty probable that this is the case. So why aren't they obeying the readings? I don't get it. This is an insane decision, especially after what he just saw. Why would you want to be alone right now? Grant, Paige, and Haley decide to go back to the Airbnb with the tarot deck because they're on a mission to destroy it. Paxton is back at his place being harassed by a jester demon. He decides to call his friends for help only after he's stuck in an elevator getting harassed by this thing, let alone when he saw it earlier do this thing with its body. It twists around like a pretzel and stares directly at Paxton. You would think that would be the moment when he would be like, maybe I should go join my friends again. Although he is pretty close to home, but still, you're not gonna stop a demon. It's not happening. 3 of your friends have died from these things so far? Did he really believe that he could run away from it? He literally saw how well that worked out for his friend on the bridge that same night. I wouldn't call Paxton an intellectual. Let's just say that. The jester literally plays elevator peekaboo with Paxton. This movie's so unserious. So the group gets a call from Paxton, who tells them that he's being hunted by a demon, and they couldn't care less, I suppose. They don't decide to drive back and save him. None of them do. You know, the girls can stay behind to destroy the deck, while the guy leaves to save Paxton. They don't do that though. Instead, all 3 of them decide to stay at the Airbnb to destroy the deck. They must not like Paxton very much. You know, he's that one friend in the group that everybody knows, but you're not friends with really. He just kind of hangs around and you can't get rid of him. He's kind of like a mosquito in your ear. You wish he wasn't there, but there's no getting rid of him. So it must have been a relief when they got the call that Paxton was being hunted. So it takes 3 people to sit around and watch videos on a phone. Poor Paxton. They don't give a shit about this guy.
Paxton, please stop talking.
At their invitation, Alma arrives at the house to assist them. She does her hoodoo voodoo shit to speak with the astrologer. You know, the long dead one that's bound to the cards that did the curse and all that. Alma knows how to talk to the dead. So that's Cool. Pretty cool trick. Alma is paralyzed by her. She says, I can't move. But I guess her lips and tongue are exempt from this rule because they're clearly moving. She dies by being turned into a pincushion. She's then dropped before Grant and Haley to spook them real good. That's honestly the only reason. It's like, oh, here's your dead friend. You should be very scared. Take a picture before she rots. A good portion of this sequence in the Airbnb is filmed in near complete darkness. And I made the mistake of watching this movie for the second time during the day. And there was this glare on my screen, I couldn't see shit. I had no idea what was going on. It's literally impossible to see what's happening unless you're watching this movie in the perfect conditions. Also, the Airbnb they rented out is gigantic.
I always call it massive. Sometimes they say huge.
It has these huge stretches of hallway, although the demons could be altering it, I guess. Paige is lured onto a demon stage by the magician. She's being hunted by undead Houdini.
Magic, magic, magic.
He's a tall, creepy looking guy with a top hat. Sitting before her is an audience of ghosts. I really dig this ghost's forked beard. Paige decides to hide in a trunk, only for it to be sawn in half by the magician. But obviously, he actually saws her in half, killing her. So I guess the magician failed the trick then, right? Isn't the whole point not to kill them? Like, you're supposed to saw the box and then nothing's there? Isn't that the trick? Why is the crowd clapping for this? He failed the trick. Haley tells Grant that their only chance is to try and change their fate.
We have to try.
But I thought you said we couldn't change fate.
Whatever that means. And they're starting to like each other again, when in the beginning of the movie, they weren't too fond of one another.
He's not very ambitious.
It seems the missing ingredient from their relationship was a curse that kills all of their friends. Haley is chased by a zombie. It manages to grab her by the throat, but Grant just bonks it and saves her. That's all you need to do to save these people from the demon? That's kind of lame. This gives Haley the time that she needs to read the astrologer's horoscope.
Your horoscope tells me you're in pain.
She finds out that its sign is death. Very convenient. And this defeats it. Right on time, because she's being choked in the air yet again. Demons just love to choke this girl for some reason. Wait a minute. Haley doesn't know the astrologer's zodiac sign. How could she possibly know that? Whatever. I gotta be honest, the filmmaking is pretty great here and there. These two directors went all out on this dumb shit, and I love it. The demons looked really cool.
Asking to pick your favorite creature is kind of like asking a parent to pick their favorite child.
Their performances were decent for the most part. Like, there were some here and there where I'm like, ooh.
And I have a witness, my roommate, Todd. The
end of this movie is so dumb. Grant says, guys, we did it. We changed fate. And Haley says, fuck fate. The end. Cue the goofy pop song. And during the post-credit scene, Paxton describes how he survived. His roommate Todd arrived out of nowhere and saved him.
Paxton?
Hey.
Because everyone knows that if someone who isn't involved in the curse is around, then that curse is forfeit.
Makes total sense.
Wait a minute, but Alma was around at the end of the movie, and that didn't stop shit. In fact, she was killed. And it's even funnier when you think about it, because Paxton was in an elevator in the middle of the night, and his roommate just happened to show up when he was about to be killed.
Paxton?
But when Paige and Lucas died, the train station and the bridge were just ghost towns for some reason. There's just no one there. And what about the people that were on the train that hit Lucas? They don't count? What I'm trying to say is, it doesn't make any sense that Paxton survived. Even if his friend showed up, he still should have died. The jester should have just killed his friend as well. That's what I'm saying. Whatever. In this movie, there's just nobody else on planet Earth once the sun goes down. That's just how it works in the tarot world. So the demons can control what their victims see. They can even create objects, shrink objects. They can change the world around them however they see fit. Then why do two of the demons have to use real world objects to kill their victims? Like a ladder in a moving train. Like if the demons can just choke you out and kill you, what's the point of the ladder? And why lure them? Like what?
You have no respect for logic.
Okay, that's my review of Tarot. Let me know what you guys thought of it in the comment section down below. Not a terrible movie, it was still pretty fun. It's just kind of nonsensical. So yeah, I hope you guys had fun watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.